our next segment, which is Would You Rather. And we can take this in any number of directions every week. We can kind of have some fun with this because we've also got the gauntlet coming up. And the gauntlet is going to be distinct from Would You Rather. So we could do things, Kendall, like would you rather have a painting of a horse head that looks like a penis sticking out of your neck? Or would you rather knock over your water cup and make a loud noise in the middle of the show? We could do stuff like that if we want. Or we could
Water
do
bottle for sure.
Okay, there you go. Or we could do stuff like would you rather if you had to invest in one player out of these two, who would it be? Would it be Giannis or would it be Kevin Durant? And I'll just read you. Kevin Durant is 33 years old, 12-time All-Star, 2-time champ. We know about his championships with Golden State. He's a one-time MVP winner, NBA League MVP winner, 2 times Finals MVP. And then you've got Giannis, who's 6 years younger, and he's got 2 NBA MVPs, 1 championship, 1 NBA Finals MVP among his accolades. So I think those are the big ones, and that's kind of why I raised the question. Why it's an interesting conversation to me. I know my answer, but if you had to invest in one of these two guys, knowing that there's some hype around Durant right now with the potential trade market, and there's not a lot of hype around Giannis in Milwaukee, at least currently. There's a lot of love and belief in Giannis, I know that, but in terms of the hype cycle, there's not. But if you had to invest in one of these guys right now and you could only buy one, who would you pick?
Well, I hate Kevin Durant. Let's just start there. He really rubbed my taters the wrong way when he left for Golden State. Like, I was so upset about it. I was torn apart when he did that. We had just made the finals and almost beat them, then he just leaves. And then when we had already had Harden leave, and it was just like, then he left, and then Westbrook left, and then Baca, and all, we had a team, dog. Anyway, the Thunder are definitely in a much better place now than they were 4 years ago. But if you took the name off of it and just gave the opportunity in front of me, and you were to say, if you were to put $100 down today, and you had this accolade, this marker, blah, 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 this ambiguity in this situation versus this situation over here, I think I might pick Durant because of the situation change, thus vaulting new buyers into the situation. But when I look at them honestly, I don't think there is career markers like we talk about a lot. I don't think there's career markers for either one of them that are objectively close. So emotionally, I'd rather have Giannis. I think if I'm putting on my investor hat, I think I'd rather have Durant right now. But even in both situations, I don't know if there's a whole lot of room for growth for either one of them over the next 12 months.
Yeah. Good take. I like to get other people's takes on questions that I think are super obvious to me, because I don't always look at things objectively when I'm just kind of in my daily fan life. And so I like the points that you made. And I think that, my answer is Giannis for a lot of reasons, but it'd be interesting to see if anyone drops in the comments who they would rather have, KD or Giannis.
I think there's a lot more Giannis cards. I think that's another point to play into it. Yeah,
KD's 07 rookie, and Giannis is 2013 rookie. So there's 6-year difference is pretty big. But, I will say a point could be made. Like, I'm trying to think of counterpoints to Giannis, because I just am in love with Giannis, and that's who I'm buying really exclusively right now. But I think that counterpoints can be made. Like, Giannis cards, the designs of all of them, there's not really one Giannis card that has like a design that I'm like, oh, that's a sick ass design. Like that's a sweet design. I've got to have that Giannis card. I'm more buying Giannis cards because of Giannis and who I believe he is versus what the cards actually look like. That Durant's cards, I think Durant has some cards that are a little bit more iconic of a design, cleaner designs. You know, he's got some Topps cards, some Fleer cards. The Giannis Prism cards don't look that great to me, and that might.
He looks like he's 12 years old.
He does, and I mean,
he was young.
he looks completely different. You know, not to.
I think that's actually. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
That's okay. Would you rather get cut off or would you rather finish your thought? I don't know.
I'd rather get cut off now.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, he looks like the actor that plays him in the movie Rise on Disney Plus. Like,
when does that come out?
Looks exactly like that actor. Like,
yeah, it was a great casting.
Casting job, amazing. Which whatever. I mean, I like that, but I mean, I just don't like the design of the Giannis cards.
Yeah.
I'd love people to let me know their thoughts on that too. But I think KD's cards are a little more iconic. So if you're looking at like a 20 year investment, I could see the case being made for KD. But I could also see people going, you know what, KD's legacy is a little weird. Giannis has the opportunity to have a legacy where he stays with one team his whole career and never pisses anybody off.
I think KD's legacy is going to get weirder.
Yeah,
I don't think it's getting any better.
I think you're right. I don't like what he's doing right now, for the record, either. So,
but what I was going to say, and when I accidentally interrupted you, was now that I think about it, I think about like LeBron, I think about KD, I think about Chris Paul, I think about Giannis for sure. So all their rookie cards make them look really weird and like almost like they're like they just don't all have flattering rookie cards. Like, you know, like the I'm thinking about the white suit LeBron. I'm like, God, man, that looked horrible. You know, like when you look at that, you're not like, man, I gotta have that card. And when I think about Kobe rookie cards, I think about being like, I have to have that card. You know, or like MJ, you know, like I'm thinking like, oh dang, like those are sick looking cards. And when I think about Durant, when I think about LeBron, when I think about Chris Paul's a little bit this way.
Steph's cards are kind of
They all look like they're like 15 years old. Nobody wants to like ponder on a guy that they feel weird about, you know, like I mean, so I think there might be something to that in the long run. I don't know. Maybe we can retool that in the future for a new segment and like looking comparatively. But I think maybe there was just like an age of time that's like we don't want to open that box back up. Like honestly, I'd rather have older Giannis cards or older LeBron cards because like those are the guys that I fell in love with. I fell in love with their game. You know, I fell in love with like the way that they just dominated, the way that, you know, like I loved Cavalier LeBron, but like when I think of first Cavalier LeBron, I think of airball and free throws LeBron. When I think of like the first time that I was like, this dude is the best I've ever seen, I either think about his high school look or I think about him in a Heat uniform. You know, and so then I do think about him later in his career when I think about the Caps. But I also, when I think about Giannis, when I think about the Giannis that was like the guy, I think about like the toned shoulders. I think about him just like dominating, him doing the almost like the you know, the dunk from the free throw line type runs. I don't think of the kid that was like squirrely running around. You're like, dude, that guy's got to be like 110 pounds, which was the first thing. I think the first time I saw him in the NBA, he was 17 years old. You know, so it's just like, I don't think about that Giannis. So it's just like, which card would you rather have in the long run? The one that brings back the fondest memories or the one that was the first card? I don't know which one holds more value.
Yeah, no, it's a good discussion. I like the discussion from a lot of different angles. Like, do players get more involved in the future in the photo selection of their rookie cards because the sports card market is gaining popularity in the mainstream? You've got guys that are collecting their own cards. The awareness level of cards in front of these guys is only going to grow with Fanatics taking over. So
Dude, that is a huge question. I've never thought about that.
they're going to see these designs, and I know how these guys are because I've worked with them. They're going to see these designs more and more, and they're going to be like, that's whack. I want to select I'm not signing this card unless I select the photo. I'm not letting you put a sticker. People, the guys are going to, the guys and women are going to start saying, I'm not going to let you take a sticker that I'm signing right now and just put it on any photo of me. I want to see that photo of me and approve it. So I think,
And if you're a manager of an athlete, you bet your dollar that you want that looking well. I think about Bobby Witt Jr.'s Bowman first card. It looks horrible. It looks like he's a claymation version of himself. I don't know what they did to the card. It looks horrible. But like,
I mean, who's even on James Harden's rookie card? It's the only time that he hasn't had facial hair
had a
in
beard.
his entire life.
That's true.
That could be anybody.
I know. You're
James
right.
Harden?
I mean, it's like not. But like he didn't become the beard until later, though. So it's just like, how do you know that? Like he probably could have approved that photo of himself and didn't know that he was going to become an icon that way.
Maybe.
But anyway, that's
right.
interesting. That is interesting. I do have a would you rather, but it's not super big. Do you want me to do it?
Of course.
All right. So would you rather have a $200,000 card in your PWCC vault? Or would you rather have a lake house that's worth $200,000? So that's, now to give you some perspective, I'm thinking a $200,000 lake house actually probably isn't like a super nice lake house. I'm thinking like that's probably a house that's maybe 1, maybe 2 bedrooms, like probably not super fancy, because lake houses are, it's a pretty penny for a lake house. So a $200,000 lake house probably isn't like super crazy awesome, but it is a lake house.
It's a good question, because like my gut reaction was lake house, like when you first asked the question. But as I'm mulling it over here, I think I would take card in vault, because I'm gonna bank on the ability to crystallize the investment more in the card than on the lake house, even though the housing market is insane still to a certain extent. And you can, pretty much everything's still liquid in the housing market. $200,000 lake house, I don't think is going to do it for me. Like I need a house to live in right now. And I feel like maybe selling the card might give me more money to get me the house to live in, then the lake house might present more problems for me and be harder to sell. Maybe I have to put more money into the lake house to sell it. So for my own personal situation, I'm going to pick card.
Cool. I think I've always wanted a lake house. I've always wanted a place that I can just go and forget about my worries. Doesn't have to be nice. I just want to go somewhere where it's mine and I can just chill. It doesn't even have to have Wi-Fi. Actually, I would prefer to not have Wi-Fi, so I could just get off the map, I
like it.
But I think I would still choose the vault, because and here's why. I think there's less things that I'd have to manage. When I think about assets, I think about, okay, like if you have a company that's worth $1 million, that's awesome. That means you got a lot of responsibilities, because you got to make sure that company stays $1 million company, unless you're selling it today.
That's a good point. Good point.
And so at a house that's worth $200,000 as a lake house, I haven't seen Arden's lives in genius.
Greeny Green, welcome
Greeny
back to the chat, man. Love it.
But I think, I'd have to go there every once in a while, make sure, there's no leaks or anything like that. Like maybe it's not even in my town, so that's going to cost money to, I think like now it would obviously depend on the card. Like if it's a $200,000 Baker Mayfield card, I don't know if that's a thing, but first off, but if it is, like, I don't want that one, but if it's a $200,000 like GOAT card, I'll say that I'd rather have the card, because I think there's less variable. I think there's less variables. And I think when I'm looking at money, I want my money to have less variables.
Yeah, that's very well said. a great way of putting it, and I think that's exactly where my mind's at too with the asset. What's going to be the least amount of maintenance for the asset to try to crystallize, like Paul Fisher says, and I think it's card. I think I would like to have a lake house too. I would like to have, but I also, I think that and nothing against people with $200,000 lake houses. I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at, but it is not a high end lake house, whereas a $200,000 card is a high end card. So yeah, I'm going card. Uh, drop a comment. Let us know what you think. We're having fun today on
Was
Sports.
was that was that kind of what you wanted?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right. So now let's get to the gauntlet because